What did your parents do for a living?
My dad is a lawyer, and my mom owned a hair shop.
What kind of attorney, if you don't mind me asking?
He's a business attorney.
Now, did they want you to follow their footsteps or their fields?
Not really. When I was younger, my dad kind of wanted me to be a lawyer, but I never really was into that. I was more into like science and math and stuff like that, so I never really wanted to be a lawyer.
You were born in Paris,
Yes,
raised in Mali,
yes,
currently reside in Atlanta.
yeah.
Was Atlanta the first city
Yeah.
when you moved to America?
Yeah.
And what grade or what age maybe perhaps in your life were you?
I was like 17. I had just graduated from high school.
And what brought you to Atlanta?
First, I came here to go to school, go to college, and I also had family here. I had a cousin that stayed here, so it was kind of easy to come and stay with him before I get my shit together.
Financially, how would you describe your upbringing?
Honestly, like, I'm from a third world country. Like, Mali is a third world country, but my parents always made sure we never like wanted for nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can't complain. I can never like complain. That would be selfish of me.
Was your household able to move up to a higher income group at some point?
Yes, at some point. Not at first. When we first moved back to Africa, it was a little hard because my dad was just getting his practice together, and it was just him coming back to like, Mali got independent in 1960, so when we went back, it was still like a fresh, brand new country. He was one of the first lawyers out there, so at first, it wasn't really easy, but then he picked up and he did better, so he definitely moved up.
So explain to me, because there may be a little bit of missing information.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time you guys left Africa and then moved back to Africa.
Yeah, he went to France when he was young. I guess when he was like me, he went to France to study and be a lawyer. So he became a lawyer, met my mom, married, got kids, and was practicing in France after he got his degree, and decided to go back to Africa and I guess try to go, cause like I guess as a black man in France, being a lawyer, he was really like, he's real smart, and he was like he's one of the first black men in France being a lawyer actually, and even like they wanted him to become a French citizen because he's not a French citizen. He's still a Malian citizen, so he was there to study. So the French government wanted him to be a French citizen and stay there for his practice, but he really felt like he was on a mission to go back to Africa. So that's how we went back. But I was born in France, so I guess he had me after he was done studying, and he started working for a few years. And when I was about 5 years old, that's when we moved back to Africa.
And you stayed under the same household as both your mother and your father throughout your life?
Yes. Yeah.
So just for chronological purposes, just kind of give me the timetable. Born in Paris,
Mm-hmm.
How long did you remain there before you actually moved to Mali?
Till I was like 5. I moved to Mali when I was like 5 years old.
And then you stay there till 17 and come to Atlanta?
Yeah.
Now, because you were able to see and you were able to experience two different income groups, things got better at some point. What did you learn from this? What did that teach you?
That you can really do anything you set your mind to in life. It's just about what you want to do with yourself, and you just got to apply yourself. Because I've seen my dad do it. I remember when we was like in France, like living in an apartment, like I was sharing my room with my brother, my sister, and one of his friends in a room that's like maybe half of this.
This is 200 square feet.
Yeah, half of this room. My room was probably half of this room, but it was like four or five people in there.
In 100 square feet.
Yeah.
What would the sleeping arrangements be like?
I remember having a bed having a bed on the right, my sister crib being like right by the foot of my bed, going this way. My uncle, my dad's friend, was at a bed on the floor in the middle, and my brother had a bed on this side. So as soon as you walk in, it's pretty much just beds, and that was our room.
Very tight.
Yeah, very tight.
And what years was this in your life again? I'm sorry.
That was
Living like that.
That was in France, so I was like probably 3-4 years old. That was in the 80s. I was born in the 80s. So that was like, I'll say 89, 88.
And then in Mali, what was it like? You had your own room at that point?
When we first moved to Mali, I was sharing a room with my brother when we first moved there. But after three years, my dad built a house, and I had my own room at that point.
Now, when it came to jobs, you had regular jobs at some point in your life.
Yeah.
What was your first job ever, and what other jobs did you have after that? And if you have the chronological order, please share.
My first job was on Georgia Tech campus. When I first moved to Atlanta, I was going to Georgia Tech to learn English. Because when I came here, I didn't speak English, I only speak French. And Bambara, I speak an African dialect too. So I was working on campus at Georgia Tech at the food court, and the catering services, like different events on campus and stuff, for probably about 2 years.
And then what jobs did you have after that?
After that, gas station, McDonald's, warehouse, yeah.
That's it?
Stuff like that. Probably like 2 or 3 different warehouse jobs, McDonald's for about 2 years, gas station for about 1.5 years before I stopped working.
The warehouse jobs, was that part of like a temp service type of thing? Or,
Yeah,
it was?
Exactly, type of temp services and stuff. Because I was still going to school, so I couldn't really get like a full-time commitment job, because I still needed time to go to school and be flexible when I got class and stuff like that.
And what gas station?
Shell. I worked at a Shell. I worked at 2 different Shells, actually.
When it came to the very first job you had, which was at Georgia Tech, did you gain the knowledge of English? Did you understand English when you first started working there, or you were still learning or in the process of learning English as you had that job?
I was still in the process, because I was taking English classes, and I was learning. Working was also helping me, because I had to deal with customers and talk to people, so it also helped me learn English.
It was broken English at that point?
Yeah, I'll say like, I knew the basics, because you got to take in French, in the French curriculum in high school, you have to take English as a second language. So I knew the basics, like how are you, good morning, and I could understand like certain little things when somebody was having a conversation. And the fact that I listened to a lot of hip hop, I knew a little bit of English, but I couldn't really fully express myself like now. So me working at Georgia Tech was definitely helping, at the same time as I was taking classes, having that job.
How long do you think it took you to grasp that English language when you say, until now?
I'll say about 2 years.
So, because you mentioned you had worked at the Georgia Tech campus for about 2 years.
Yeah.
So you think you pretty much got it by the time you were done with that job?
Yeah. By the time I got done with that job, I was pretty bilingual at that point, yeah.
And prior to learning English, what was your first language or your main language?
French. My first language is French. And then after French, I learned Bambara. When I moved back to Mali when I was 5, that's when I learned Bambara. But my first language is French.
Now, how were you introduced to the Georgia Tech job? How'd you get that gig there?
Me going to school, me learning English there. When I first came here, that's why I was going to school for my English classes. So just me being on campus, like as soon as I got here, I was looking for a job, trying to make some money.
And what was your position there once again? I'm sorry.
I was working at the food court, catering service. So we was doing the food court and the different events on campus.
So you would actually serve food, or you were organizing? Like, what were you actually doing at that?
Sometimes they'll send you to the food court and tell you, or just work the cafeteria. Sometimes we might have an event at a different building and you gotta go set up and change your shirt and serve the people. And so I was working different positions, all in a catering service.
Now, you've had various jobs, and we've discussed what you've done, but would you always work one job after another, or did you ever work 2 jobs at the same time?
No, I never had 2 jobs because I always had to go to school at the same time. So I only had 1 job because I always, like, school was like my second job.
Were any of the jobs you mentioned tough?
Oh yeah, even that first job.
Which one was the toughest out of all the jobs you've had?
The warehouse.
Why?
Long hours, stand on your feet, 12 hours, barely any breaks. They pay you like shit, so it was hard.
And let me zoom out here for a second. What was your position at the Shell gas stations?
Cashier.
What was your position at McDonald's?
I worked every position at McDonald's. The grill, the cash register, the fries, they moved me everywhere.
And what was your position at the 2 to 3 warehouses? Temp service.
Usually it was like type of line work. Like I remember like one time it was a DVD factory, so we just standing there putting DVDs in cases, stuff like that. Sometimes I had to work the machine that packs the DVDs.
Let me zoom back in. Were any of the jobs dangerous?
Yeah, the warehouse was dangerous when you work in the machines because if you don't, sometimes it jams and stuff and you got to unjam it and you got to be careful because your hands might get caught in it. So we had accidents before. I witnessed stuff, people getting hurt on the job and stuff like that. Yeah.
Did you ever get hurt personally?
No.
When you seen someone else get hurt, how bad did it get?
It wasn't that bad. I seen somebody's hand kind of get caught in the machine, but it just got stuck. But it wasn't bleeding or it didn't break anything. So it wasn't that bad. But you know, when something happened on the job, they just stop everything and everybody got to go through. So it just makes it a big deal, but it wasn't that bad.
What was the best thing about any of these jobs?
I think he taught me life. He taught me to deal with any situation. Like, I feel like I can make it in any situation. You can throw me anywhere and I'll find a way to put A and B together and find a way to get myself out, to get something for myself out of it.
On the opposite end of the spectrum, what was the worst thing about any of these jobs?
The time you're consuming, like you pretty much ain't got no life. That's all you're doing. Because by the time you come back to school, you go to work, you go into school. Like I remember like going 2, 3 years without having a day off. Like not one day where I ain't doing nothing. Because if I'm not in school, I'm at work. If I'm not at work, I'm at school. So it keeps you busy.
Which job paid the best out of all the ones you've had?
The job that paid the best is probably when I graduated. After I graduated, like I worked for First Data. It's a credit card processing company, and I went to school for computer engineering. So I was programming the credit card terminals and refurbishing them and programming them and stuff like that. So that was probably the best paying job I had.
And you got a bachelor's degree
Yeah.
at Georgia Tech?
Now I got a bachelor's degree from, it's now called Kennesaw State, but it used to be Southern Polytechnic State University in Marietta, but it's now called, I think Kennesaw State Bottom, so it's now the Kennesaw State Marietta campus. That's where I graduated from.
You attended Georgia State ever? Or you just worked at Georgia State?
No,
Georgia Tech, I'm sorry.
I attended Georgia Tech for ESL classes, English classes.
Ah.
So I did the ESL program at Georgia Tech, and after that, I transferred to Southern Poly for my engineering degree.
Now, when it came to the jobs that you've had, and let's talk about the jobs before you actually get that, what is it, credit, say that again, the credit
The
card?
First Data. The
First
company
Data.
is called First Data.
Yeah, First Data. Before you got First Data, when we're talking about these other jobs,
Yeah.
any crazy stories, anything that happened out of the norm, other than what we've mentioned so far?
Yeah. Fights at the gas station. I remember like people, like one time I got into it with somebody because like, I guess I handed his money back and he didn't like the way I handed his money back, so he threw it in my face and started calling me the N-word and all type of, like, you know, we got into it. Like, yeah. And yeah. First date I didn't hand well either, because I felt like I was discriminated. Like they made me work so much. Like I had a bachelor degree, but they was making me do the technician work and then make me do the engineer work, but paying me the technician salary, and would not like upgrade. Like they would not give me the engineer salary, because when they hired me, like, you know, they gave me the technician position and I took it. But then I was like, I have a degree and I can do this, I can do that. So that was like, I do it. So they started making me do it, but would not give me the pay grade that goes with it. So I complained and they told me that you're supposed to have an engineering degree and take this test and this test. And I showed them my degree and I took the test, and I guess that they thought I wasn't gonna pass the test. And I made like a 90 something on the test and I just needed a 70 to get the job. So by the time I raised hell and did the test and all that, they was like, well, the engineering position is not open anymore. I was like, yeah, because you already got me doing the job, doing the work as a technician, so of course it's not open anymore. So I quit. And after that, I was like, fuck it, I'm done working, man.
The person who called you an N-word at the gas station, what race, what ethnicity, or what nationality were they?
He was white. He was white, American, and a young dude. I don't know. I mean, you know, he was in Cobb County, so they're pretty racist down there. So I ain't really did nothing, but.
And just for the record, what is your race, ethnicity, nationality?
I'm black, African.
Was that the first time that ever happened to you?
No, it's not. It happened to me before.
Was that the first time that ever happened on the job?
Yeah, on the job, yeah.
After you get into a physical altercation with this person, what ends up happening to you? Do you still remain at that job at that time, or do they reprimand you some kind of way over that?
Actually, my manager had my back, because she witnessed the whole thing, and she banned the dude from the store. And after that, the dude, he had somebody called acting like they're police officer or something. It was like, you got in a physical altercation with somebody and you threatened their life or some stuff, we're gonna come get you and something. And she told me to hang up the phone. And she told me, she was like, police is never gonna call, and this is just somebody that you know trying to scare you and stuff like that. She was like, no, don't worry about anything, I got you, I witnessed everything is on camera, you didn't do anything wrong, he basically attacked you, and you just defended yourself.
Oh, so not only does he call you the N-word, he actually gets physical with you first.
Yeah, I went to my car and grabbed my gun. He went that far.
So kind of explain what happened.
We started tussling in the store.
But he puts his hands on you first.
Yeah, he jumped behind the counter. He basically jumped behind the counter and started strangling me and basically just attacked me. And so I had to defend myself, and I kind of got the best of him, so he went outside and I think he had a firearm. So when he got to that point, I grabbed my firearm too.
But you were behind the counter? No, you
No,
actually...
I went outside, because when he went outside, he was still at the window trying to antagonize me. Because when we got done fighting, he left, and I had customers in the store. So everybody was like, just let it go, just do your job. So I started taking care of my customers, but he came back to the window and started pointing a gun at me. So at that point, I had to walk out. I walked outside and grabbed my own gun. And then at that point, after that, he left.
He saw you grab a gun?
Yeah. Yeah. We almost got in a shootout.
Scary stuff.
Yeah, man, it's America, man. It's a lot of crazy people.
When it came to, well, let me ask you this. And no disrespect to this next question, but I don't want to assume. What is your sexuality?
Straight. I'm married.
You are married. Okay, I do want to ask you this question respectfully. But when you did work these jobs, ever had a sexual relationship with any of your coworkers or customers?
Yeah. Many times. Girls I work with, like, yeah. Or you meet a girl that just come to the store, buy some, you get a number. Yeah, many times, yeah.
And this was at every single job? Was it one particular job?
No, I'll say, it happened at McDonald's. I remember, like, I had a girlfriend for McDonald's. When I started working at McDonald's, I started dating a girl that was working there behind with me. We almost got a little serious for like a year. And then, yeah, I remember over girls like that I met at the gas station, probably just coming to buy blunts, and I get their number and call them later, and then we link up and stuff like that.
When it came to the relationship with your coworker at McDonald's, I think you said, did you guys break up while you were still employed there, or?
No, we broke up after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was going to ask if things got awkward after that or how that worked out, being that you still, if you were at that job together, you know, how that would end up.
We stayed together for almost a year. Like, yeah. So we both left that job and got over jobs, and we were still together.
Ever had sex at any of your jobs?
No. No. I got some head in the warehouse.
How'd you do that?
But one of them Spanish girls that was working there, I took her in the bathroom. We had a break. But we ain't really had sex. It was just, you know.
Was this spontaneous or this was premeditated? You guys kind of planned this out and kind of, we're going to do this.
It was like meet me in there type of stuff, yeah.
Were you doing music during any of these jobs?
Yeah. I was recording. Like, at one point, I got a little home studio set up. Like, probably when I was doing one of them warehouse jobs. I started buying a little equipment here and there, like a mic, computer. I had a computer, I got Pro Tools, and I was recording. I was making songs, but I wasn't putting anything out.
all these jobs you had before the Trap Monster situation.
Yeah. All that happened way before Trap Monster, before all that.
And that's a partnership.
Yeah, that's a partnership. Because I studied Marvelous music before I met Trap Monster. I started taking music seriously and studied Marvelous music, and then being in the midst of that, I met Trap Monster, and then we clicked up.
Juby Kane is Trap Monster.
Yeah, Juby Kane is Trap Monster.
And I've had the chance to interview him before.
Facts. I've seen that interview.
And if people want to watch that interview, they can search for that on this YouTube channel.
Definitely.
But how did you get in a situation to have this partnership?
That's my brother, man. I just know him from the streets. Like, you know, we just know people in common. So I just knew him outside of music. And then we was both doing music. So it just only made sense to, like, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause that's my brother. Outside of that, it's my brother. So it just only made sense to join forces and do it together. But I still want to remain independent. So I'm still Marvelous music. But we're doing it together, though.
But it was his idea?
He brought it to me, yeah. He brought it to me. It was like, it makes sense because he was seeing me doing it and I was seeing him doing it. So it was like, we might as well like join forces, and you know, we both Muslims, we both know each other outside of that. So it was like, it makes sense to do it like that.
And when it comes to your religion and the Islam faith, is it a certain branch or sect you follow?
Nah, I'm just Muslim. I don't believe that it should be any sects or branches in Islam, because that's exactly what they tell us not to do in Islam. We're supposed to be one. It's one Islam, it's one God, it's one religion. So I'm just that. I was born Muslim, like everybody Muslim in my country. So I never knew any other religion or anything.
When it came to the warehouse jobs and you had gotten your home studio and things of that nature, did anyone ever recognize you at the job for doing music?
Nah, because I was just recording at the time. I wasn't really putting nothing out. I ain't really started Motherlandboy music yet. I was just recording and I guess working on my craft, earning my craft. So I wasn't even telling people I really do music. Unless we get close and you get to come to my house and we hang out, then I might let you hear what I recorded. But at that time, I was just working on it as a passion more than anything else. I ain't really even knew what I was gonna do with it yet. I was just passionate about it, and it just helped me. It was like talking about my life. For me, it's like therapy. It just helps me. It's just something that I need to do.
Almost done with my questions about your jobs here. But when it came to these jobs that you've had, did you quit them or get fired at any of them?
Most I quit. I don't think I ever got fired. Most of the time I quit.
What were some of the reasons?
Sometimes it's because I like the first job that I quit is because I found a better job. But the last one is just because I felt like I wasn't being treated right and I wasn't getting what I'm supposed to get. So I had to get another route. I had to take another route when it comes to money, getting money.
You did work at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Because you worked at McDonald's, are you sick of their food?
Oh yeah, I don't eat McDonald's. I don't eat fast food, period.
Why not?
I stopped eating fast food. I stopped drinking soda, all of that.
And what was the reasoning there?
Because I know what's in it. I know what's in it, so I know that I'm not really, you're not supposed to ingest that type of stuff. So I'm trying to eat more natural stuff.
My final question. If you could, would you ever consider owning any of the jobs you worked at?
Oh yeah, I'd definitely open a bunch of McDonald's, franchise them, yeah. Or gas stations, or yeah, you gotta own businesses, man. You gotta, yeah, definitely.
And why McDonald's and why gas stations?
I mean, that's just an example.
Okay.
Like, cause like you said, like I work there, so I wouldn't mind owning a McDonald's. I don't own one now, but I wouldn't mind owning one, definitely. Owning a few.
Would you own a McDonald's even though you personally don't eat there and you stated your reasons why?
Yeah, cause I know it's popular, I know he makes money. So I will still, yeah. I probably won't eat it while I'm selling it, but I'll still do it.